Hello everyone, you're on the channel History of the Ancient World. Today we're journeying back in time, not just by centuries, but by millennia, to the sun-scorched lands of ancient Egypt. Imagine a civilization that thrived for over 3,000 years along the banks of the mighty Nile River. This wasn't just a kingdom of pharaohs and pyramids. It was a world brimming with gods, goddesses, mythical beasts, and epic tales of creation, conflict, and the afterlife. The ancient Egyptians looked at the world around them and saw the divine in everything. The rising sun, the annual flooding of the Nile, the very cycle of life and death. It was all part of a grand, cosmic story. Their mythology was the language they used to understand their universe, to explain the unexplainable, and to guide their lives from birth to their journey into eternity. These weren't just bedtime stories. They were the bedrock of their society, influencing their art, their architecture, and their profound beliefs about what it means to be human. So, get ready as we unseal the ancient tombs and decipher the hieroglyphs to explore the most captivating myths and legends of ancient Egypt. Let's start at the very beginning, with the Egyptian story of creation. In the beginning, there was nothing but a vast, dark, watery chaos known as Nun. From these primordial waters, a mound of earth, the Benben, slowly emerged, just like the fertile land that appeared each year after the Nile's floodwaters receded. On this first patch of land, the creator god, Atum, willed himself into existence. In some versions, he is known as Ra, the powerful sun god. Standing alone in the universe, Atum created the first divine pair. Through his own power, he brought forth Shu, the god of air, and Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. Shu and Tefnut then had children of their own, Geb, the earth god, and Nut, the sky goddess. At first, Geb and Nut were locked in a tight embrace, leaving no space for life to exist on earth. So their father, Shu, the god of air, stepped in. He forcefully pushed them apart, raising Nut high above to form the star-studded arch of the sky, while Geb lay below, becoming the land we walk on. This separation of sky and earth created the world as we know it, a space for life to flourish. But the story doesn't end there. Nut and Geb went on to have 4 very important children who would shape the destiny of gods and mortals alike: Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys. This family of gods, known as the Ennead, form the cornerstone of Egyptian mythology, and their stories are filled with love, betrayal, and a struggle for power. Now, we come to one of the most important and enduring myths in all of ancient Egypt, the story of Osiris, Isis, and Set. Osiris, the firstborn, was a wise and just king who ruled over Egypt, teaching humans agriculture and law, bringing civilization to the land. He was beloved by all, and his queen, the powerful sorceress Isis, ruled by his side. But their brother, Set, the god of chaos, storms, and the harsh desert, grew deeply jealous of Osiris's power and popularity. His envy festered until it turned into a treacherous plot. Set decided to get rid of his brother forever. He secretly measured Osiris's body and had a magnificent, beautiful chest built to his exact dimensions. Then he threw a grand banquet and invited all the gods, including Osiris. As the party's highlight, Set presented the chest and declared that whoever fit inside it perfectly could keep it as a gift. One by one, the gods tried, but none could fit. Finally, it was Osiris's turn. Unsuspecting, he lay down inside the chest, and it was a perfect fit. In an instant, Set and his co-conspirators slammed the lid shut, sealed it with lead, and threw the chest into the Nile River. The chest floated out to the Mediterranean Sea, carrying the murdered king. Egypt was left without its rightful ruler, and chaos loomed. The news of her husband's murder devastated Isis, but her grief quickly turned to determination. She was not just a mourning widow, she was a powerful goddess on a mission. She set out on a desperate search for her husband's body, determined to give him a proper burial so his soul could reach the afterlife. Her journey took her all the way to the city of Byblos in modern-day Lebanon. There the chest had washed ashore and a magnificent tamarisk tree had grown around it, encasing the coffin within its trunk. The local king, impressed by the tree's beauty, had it cut down and made into a pillar for his palace, unaware of the divine secret it held. Isis, using her wisdom and magic, eventually made her way to Byblos. She befriended the queen's handmaidens, and through her divine powers was brought before the queen. She revealed her identity and her tragic story, and the compassionate royals granted her the pillar. Isis carefully cut the coffin out from the tree and returned to Egypt with her husband's body. She hid the coffin in the marshes of the Nile Delta, planning to use her magic to revive him. But the story takes another dark turn. Set, while out hunting, stumbled upon the hidden chest. In a fit of rage, he opened it, took Osiris's body, and tore it into 14 pieces, scattering them all across the land of Egypt. He believed that by doing this, Osiris could never be made whole again, and his claim to the throne would be secure. This horrific act did not break Isis. Instead, her resolve hardened. Along with her sister, Nephthys, she began a second, even more arduous quest, to find every single piece of her beloved husband. They searched high and low, transforming into birds to scan the landscape from above. They recovered all the pieces except for one, which had been eaten by a fish in the Nile. Using her immense magical abilities, Isis painstakingly reassembled Osiris's body. She fashioned a replacement for the missing part, and with the help of Anubis, the god of embalming, and Thoth, the god of wisdom, she performed the very first mummification ritual. Through a powerful spell, she was able to breathe life back into Osiris, but only for a short time. He could no longer rule in the land of the living. Instead, he descended into the underworld to become its king, the just and merciful judge of the dead. But in that brief moment of resurrection, Isis conceived a son, Horus. She knew Set would see the child as a threat to his throne, so she hid Horus in the dense papyrus swamps of the Nile Delta, protecting him until he was old enough to avenge his father and reclaim his rightful place as king of Egypt. The birth of Horus set the stage for the next great chapter in this divine drama. The epic conflict between Horus and his uncle, Set. Raised in secret by his mother Isis, Horus grew into a strong and determined god, his one purpose to avenge his father and restore order to Egypt. When he came of age, he challenged Set for the throne. This wasn't a single battle, but a long and brutal war that lasted for 80 years. The two gods fought in various forms, transforming into animals and unleashing their full divine power. One of their most famous contests was a boat race. Set, ever the trickster, built a boat of stone which immediately sank. Horus, however, cleverly built a boat of wood, but painted it to look like stone. He easily won the race, but this only enraged Set further. Their battles were fierce. In one fight, Set ripped out Horus's left eye, the moon. In another, Horus injured Set, weakening his power. Horus's missing eye was later magically restored by the god Thoth. This healed eye, known as the Wadjet or the Eye of Horus, became a powerful symbol of protection, healing, and restoration throughout all of ancient Egypt. Finally, the exhausted gods brought their case before a divine tribunal, presided over by Ra and the other major deities. Set argued his claim based on his strength, while Horus argued his based on his rightful lineage as the son of Osiris. The trial was long and complicated, with many gods taking sides. Isis, using her cunning, even tricked Set into admitting that a son should inherit from his father. In the end, the gods ruled in favor of Horus. He was crowned the legitimate king of Egypt, bringing an end to Set's chaotic reign and restoring Ma'at, the cosmic principle of truth, balance, and order. Osiris was avenged, and every pharaoh who subsequently ruled Egypt was seen as the living embodiment of Horus on earth. Beyond the great cosmic dramas, Egyptian mythology was also filled with an incredible array of fascinating creatures and lesser deities that populated their world. Think of Anubis, the jackal-headed god who presided over mummification and guided souls into the afterlife. Jackals were often seen in cemeteries, and the Egyptians logically connected them with the dead. Then there was Thoth, the ibis-headed god of writing, wisdom, and magic. He was the scribe of the gods, the keeper of sacred knowledge, and the one who helped restore Horus's eye. There were also protective goddesses like Bastet, the cat goddess of home, fertility, and joy, who could also reveal a fierce, lioness-like nature when defending the pharaoh. And Sobek, the crocodile god, represented the power and ferocity of the Nile's most dangerous predator, but was also a symbol of pharaonic might and fertility. And of course, we can't forget the mythical beasts. The Sphinx, with the body of a lion and the head of a human, stands as a guardian of the Giza pyramids, a symbol of royal power and a protector of sacred sites. Other creatures like griffins and serpent demons filled the underworld, representing the dangers and challenges a soul would face on its journey. These figures weren't just characters in stories, they were active forces in daily life, worshipped in temples, and called upon for help in everything from childbirth to passing exams in scribe school. The influence of these myths on ancient Egyptian society cannot be overstated. It was the very operating system of their culture. The myth of Osiris's death and resurrection was the foundation for their elaborate funeral practices, including mummification. They believed that by preserving the body, the soul could successfully navigate the underworld, be judged by Osiris, and achieve eternal life in the field of reeds, a heavenly paradise. The grand pyramids and hidden tombs were not just monuments, they were resurrection machines, built to protect the pharaoh's body and ensure his successful journey to godhood. The political structure was also built on mythology. The pharaoh was not just a king. He was the living Horus, the divine intermediary between the gods and humanity. His job was to maintain Ma'at, that crucial cosmic balance. If he succeeded, the Nile would flood predictably, harvest would be plentiful, and Egypt would be safe from its enemies. If he failed, chaos, embodied by Set, would take over. This divine mandate gave the pharaoh absolute authority. From the grandest temples to the smallest personal amulets, these myths and legends were woven into the very fabric of Egyptian life, providing meaning, structure, and the hope of an eternal paradise. And so, we see that the pyramids are more than just stone, and the hieroglyphs are more than just pictures. They are the echoes of a civilization that lived and breathed its mythology. The tales of Ra's daily journey across the sky, the tragic story of Osiris, and the triumphant victory of Horus are timeless stories of creation, struggle, and the eternal hope for order and rebirth. They reveal a people who had a profound and beautiful understanding of the world and their place within it. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey back to the land of the pharaohs. If you enjoyed this exploration of Egyptian mythology, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to History of the Ancient World for more adventures into our distant past. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next video. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What's your favorite Egyptian myth or god? Let us know. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.